Okay, so we are 2 days away from the end of August, which means it is time for my September TBR. I'm really excited to get into all of these books, so let's get on to seeing what I am going to read in the month of September. Before we do though, a very quick shout out to our dear friend Alex, my dear friend Alex, who has been helping me with these videos. As you guys know, I don't edit. Editing is a total nightmare for me. But Alex has been coming to you for the past couple of videos with some editing works, and I really appreciate it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Alex, for everything that you do. And guys, give Alex some love in the comments below, because if not for him, you would be seeing a lot of dead air and stumbling and umming and ahhing and all of that kind of stuff that you used to see prior to editing commencing. Thank you, Alex, for your hard work. I really do appreciate it. Okay. Before we get into September's TBR, the September TBR, my September TBR, anyway, I just want to advise you that I ended up swapping out the last book that I was going to read in August for the first book I was going to read in September, because I didn't have a lot of time left before the end of the month, and I wanted to find a shorter book to read. Because of this, you will see the first book I was going to read in September in my August wrap-up, coming out very soon. And instead of seeing this book in the wrap-up, you'll see it now. So, swapping those two books over, the first book I'm going to read in September of 2020 is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So this is one of Brandon Sanderson's YA series, and I am close to finishing off another YA series that he did, The Reckoners, with Steelheart over here. Yeah, so we'll see how we go with this one. I'm very intrigued. The second book that I plan on reading in the month of September 2020 is this book, The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Cowell. Now, this is a book that I'm going to be reading for a book club. Yay! So recently I did a video discussing how much I really want to be a part of a book club. I'll link it up there. And in this book, well, with this book, I'm going to explore that opportunity of being part of a book club. Very recently, I became a patron to my very favourite of all time booktuber, Ms. Murphy, from the channel, the booktube channel, Murphy Napier. So this is the pick of the month for the Murphy Napier Patreon book club, and I'm very excited to read it. It is a YA sci-fi, so 2 sci-fis in a row. Woo. Not really a sci-fi reader, but hey, we'll give it a go. This is 421 pages long, which makes it a half tome. This is 510 pages long, which makes it a tome. And this is the only tome I'm going to read for this month. Well, one of. Okay, so let's read a bit about what this book is about. So it says on the back, pilot, physicist's wife. On a cold spring night in 1952, a huge meteorite fell to Earth and obliterated much of the east coast of the United States, including Washington, D.C. The ensuing climate cataclysm will soon render Earth inhospitable for humanity, as the last such meteorite did for the dinosaurs. This looming threat calls for a radically accelerated effort to colonize space and requires a much larger share of humanity to take part in the process. There is more to it. I wanted to go in at least partially blind, so I won't read anymore. But I'm looking forward to being a part of this book club. The way that Murphy from BookTuber channel and Patreon channel, Murphy Napier, does her book clubs is she does it really, really well. First of all, it does not cost a lot to join Murphy, so feel free to check out her channel. I'll link her channel in the description below, and also I'll link her Patreon, so it's very inexpensive to join her, and all of the money that she raises exclusively on Patreon with her patrons goes towards adopting. She has been looking to adopt a child for a number of years now, and all of that money goes towards that adoption, which I just think is really beautiful. So, yeah, give so that beautiful parents, parents that have just such beautiful souls, are going to be able to adopt. And anyway, yeah, Murphy has set up a Discord server or something like that, where we can all chat about the book that we're reading. So I'm very excited about this one. The third book that I'm going to be reading in the month of September 2020 is this book, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This was a very popular book way back in the day on BookTube, but since I was starting BookTube this year, I'm catching up from behind with a lot of these books. I love this cover, I love the keys, and unfortunately it is a library cover, so if I do go on to love this book, I will purchase my own copy, but I want this copy because I just think this cover is just really, I don't like the glossiness, but I love the keys, and I think this is beautiful. Anyway, this is an adult fantasy. It is 494 pages long, which makes it a half tome, but only by 6 pages. Come on, Erin Morgenstern. You couldn't have written 6 pages and made it a tome. Anyway, let's read a little bit of the blurb. Far beneath the surface of the earth, upon the shores of the starless sea, there is a labyrinth collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. The entryways that led to this sanctuary are often hidden, sometimes on forest floors, sometimes in private homes, sometimes in plain sight. But those who seek will find. Their doors have been waiting for them. And I'm not going to read more than that because... wrong way around. Because it just sounds really exciting to me. So I've been looking forward to reading this book for a while now. And I'm really excited. So we'll see how we go. I am not going to promise to get through every single book that I have on my TBR because I've been pushing myself a little bit too much, I've realised recently, with all the books that I've been reading. This is not pressure from BookTube. This is my own personal pressure that I put on myself. And I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm not even mapping out a schedule this month. Normally I map out a schedule of all the books and all the pages I want to read every day. I'm not doing that this month. I'm a little bit scared about not having a schedule, but anyway. So, just need to put in a little quick disclaimer here. I don't plan on getting to every single book that I'm showing you here. If I do, yay, but if I don't, no hard feelings. They'll just transfer over to October. So to the next book that I plan to read, and once again I need to give a big shout out to Murphy from BookTuber channel, Murphy Napier. I have been looking to broaden my horizons with genres, and so I thought it might be an idea to pick up a romance book. In August of 2020, I read 2 LGBTIQ plus male romance books, and I really enjoyed both of them, and so why not try and do a male-female one as well? So thanks to Murphy Napier, I've chosen to pick up a Casey West book. It was not easy to find a Casey West book, but eventually I did. I am holding P.S. I Like You by Casey West in my hands. Anyway, this is very much a thank you to Murphy from BookTuber channel Murphy Napier, so if I don't like this book, we know who to blame. Totally kidding. YA romance is 362 pages long. Let's find out a little bit about what this is about. While spacing out in chemistry class, Lily scribbles some of her favourite song lyrics onto her desk. The next day, she finds that someone has continued the lyrics on the desk and added a message to her. Intrigue! I don't need to read anymore. This sounds amazing. It's giving me Letters to the Lost vibes, like there is no tomorrow. So, and I love that book. I gave it 5 stars, so definitely check that one out. I don't need to read anymore. I'm already intrigued. If you want to read more, you can always look this book up online, but I'm very much intrigued now for this book after just reading that. The next book I plan to get to, we need to have a little bit of an intro to this book. So, quite a few months ago, from my own personal store that I work at, haven't been there for a long time, thanks to COVID-19, unfortunately. Hope to go back soon. In Melbourne, we're in stage 4 restrictions with lockdown, so that means that, well, there's next to nothing that you're allowed to do outside of your own home anymore, which is kind of tough to deal with. I'm someone who loves to be at home, and even I am getting cabin fever. So I need to get out, okay? I need to get out. But anyway, back in March, I read this book, The Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero, and I gave it 5 stars. This book is a spin-off from Rick Riordan's original series, the Percy Jackson series. So a couple of months later, I read the book next to it, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. While I really loved The Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero, I gave Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief 3 stars. I wish I had read them the other way around, because, yeah, I just think I would have enjoyed the Percy Jackson series more had I read it first. So, after reading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, I was done with that series. I did not want to read more Percy Jackson because I was over it. Then, one day, my library decided to send me a whole box of books, and one of the books that was included in that box of books, which I did an unboxing for that, and I'll leave the link to that up there, or actually I'm leaving it up there. I don't know why I keep pointing over there. Okay. Calm down, Mr. Francy. I will leave a link to my unboxing of those books over there. Okay. So, one of the books that was in that massive box was this book, Book 2, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. So, yeah, check out that video, because I reacted when I got this book. I was done, and clearly the angels don't want me to be done with this series, so they gave me Book 2, and now I need to read it. But anyway, let's take a look at the blurb on the back. Woo. Okay. It's not easy being a half-blood these days. Even a simple game of dodgeball becomes a death match against an ugly gang of cannonball giants, and that was only the beginning. Now Camp Half-Blood is under attack, and unless I can get my hands on the Golden Fleece, the whole camp will be invaded by monsters. Big ones. It's a middle grade book. It's middle grade fantasy. So, the blurb reads like one. That's the only point I'm making. It's 265 pages long, which makes it a half tome. We'll see how we go with this book. The next book I plan on picking up in September of 2020 is another library book. It is Nobody Real by Stephen Camden. According to Kate Tempest, he's just brilliant. But I've learnt not to trust author tags on the front of books, because they don't always work out. But anyway, let's read the blurb. I look down at my page. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I know what I want to do. My pen tip scratches the blank paper like a claw, and then I feel you. For the first time in years, watching me, knowing my thoughts. I look up, across the room, and there you are. Marcy is real, with real problems. For years, she has been hitching a ride on the train of her best friend Kara's life. Now, there's only one more summer until they're off to uni, which is the Australian version of college, or the English version of college. Now they're off to uni together, just like they planned. But Marcy has a secret, and time is running out for her to decide what she really wants. Years ago, Thor was also Marcy's friend before she cast him out. Back to his own world, time is running out for him too. If he doesn't make a decision soon, he's going to face the fade. But Thor is not real, and that's a real problem. Interesting. It's a YA contemporary. I do love my contemporaries. It's 421 pages long, which makes it a half tome. We'll see how this goes. That didn't really tell me a lot, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so earlier in this vlog, I showed you Skyward and how I'm intrigued to start another YA series. Speaking of YA Brandon Sanderson series, how about trying to finish a series off? So quite some time ago, I read Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Reckoners series, by the way. It is a YA sci-fi. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was a fantasy. It's more of a superhero story. I'm not a fan of superhero stories, so if you're not a fan of Marvel Comics or anything like that kind of thing, you may still love this, because it's Brandon Sanderson and he's just amazing. I mean, he is. So if you haven't read Brandon Sanderson before and you don't like adult books, check out Steelheart. It's a YA. Yeah, anyway, I absolutely love this book. I still have the library copy because of COVID-19. However, I do have my own copy exactly like this. I wanted the hardcover. I wanted the grey hardcover because I've become so accustomed to this cover. Anyway, it's on the way. A couple of months later, I ended up reading the second book in the series, Firefight. I gave this a lower rating. I think it was like 4 or 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't bad, but I just preferred Steelheart. In September of 2020, I'm going to finish off this series by reading the third, and so far, hopefully, final, book in the series. Book 3 in that series is called Calamity by Brandon Sanderson. So again, it's a YA sci-fi. This particular book is 417 pages long, which makes it a half tome. I am really excited to wrap up my second Brandon Sanderson series. Very recently, I wrapped up Mistborn. We have the colour-coded versions of Era 1, and then the white books that you can't really see. Can't really see them, there are 3. Once I finish off Calamity, that should be the completion of the Reckoners series, my second series that I've completed by Brandon Sanderson. The next book I plan to read has me very excited to read it for many different reasons. The first reason being that this book is incredibly hard to get in Melbourne, Australia. I had to climb several mountains to finally get this book, but it is so worth it, and probably for a reason that you don't expect. Anyway, let's start off with what the book is called. So the book is called Igniting the Phoenix. It is book 1 in the Weapon of War series by Alethea Steron. I said Althea last time I held this book up with the unboxing, but it's Alethea Steron. This is an adult fantasy. It's 482 pages long, which makes it a half tome, but only makes it 18 pages away from being a tome. Okay. I will talk about what this book is about in a moment. We'll read the blurb together in just a moment. But before we do, the reason why I committed myself to climb every mountain and ford every stream and follow every rainbow until I can finally live this dream is because my 2 favourite booktubers of all time, once again, Murphy from booktube channel Murphy Napier and Daniel from booktube channel Daniel Green, actually came together to do the audio version of this book. So, I have no shame in telling you guys that I'm going to read the physical copy while listening to my 2 favourite booktubers read this book to me. I know nothing about this book. I've even gone on to Goodreads. I think there's like 5 reviews and that's it. So, I mean, this is clearly not a popular book at all, but I don't care. If Murphy and Daniel can read a book to me, I'm on board. So, I got this book finally. I climbed every mountain, I forded every stream, I followed every rainbow, and I found my dream! So, I'll be reading this one in September. So, the blurb for Igniting the Phoenix by Alethea Steron. You're already involved. It's all around you. You feel it, don't you? Sometimes there's thickness in the air, a lump with every swallow taken, a chill as you enter a room. You know they're there, waiting, watching. Ooh, it sounds like Big Brother. Anyway, in a war that captured his brothers, Lucius, discovers a weapon can manifest in various forms. During his assignment, hiding in Josephine's home with interdimensional camouflage, he develops a crush for the general's daughter. Without her knowledge, Josephine is calling the shots. Ignorance that once protected her wanes in the balance of dimensional laws the more she perceives of him. And when the opened doorway is exposed, mind games of Lucius's enemies reach an entirely new level and forces him to make a decision about his secrecy. The shadows have finally found a key to their freedom and they will break through. Ooh. The next book that I came across is thanks to a book that I read in August that I absolutely loved. There is an author I found and he is just amazing. You'll hear more about him in my August wrap-up, and I need to read more of his works. While this book is co-authored by Becky Albertelli, I have fallen in love with said author whose name is Adam Silvera. The book I'm referring to is What If It's Us? Oh, it says, are you the boy from the post office? Ooh, very interesting. In August, I read 2 of Adam Silvera's books. The first book that I read was Infinity Sun. This is a fantasy book. Not a fan, I'll be honest. The second book that I read of Adam Silvera's in August was History Is All You Left Me, which is a contemporary, a really hard-hitting, raw, real, amazing book by Adam Silvera. I needed more of his contemporary works, so What If It's Us is on the list. Let's read the blurb. From New York Times bestselling authors Becky Albertelli and Adam Silvera, meet Arthur and Ben. Arthur is only in New York for the summer, but if Broadway has taught him anything, it's that the universe can deliver a show-stopping romance when you least expect it. Ben thinks the universe needs to mind its own business. If it had his back, he wouldn't be carrying a box of his ex-boyfriend's things. But after a chance meeting at the post office, the boys leave wondering what exactly the universe does have in store for them. What if they can't find each other again? What if they do, and then can't nail a first date? What if Arthur tries too hard to make it work, and Ben doesn't try hard enough? What if life really isn't like a Broadway musical? But what if it is? I'm already really excited about this book because it's by Adam Silvera, but I'm even more excited about this book because I love musicals. So, yee! There we go. Okay, it's a little, I know you can't tell, but this is popped out. Makes it a little more 3D. That's kind of fun. Anyway, yay, very excited. Adam Silvera. Need I say more? They're the only two words you need. Adam Silvera. It's going to be amazing. I'll be shocked if it's not amazing. The next book that I'm going to read, oh my gosh, you guys, finally we are getting to this book. And I'm specifically going to do this from over here. Can you tell why? I wonder why. I am finally going to be reading book 4 of the Selection series. This has taken so long for me to track down, you guys. This is not easy. Do we just not sell this book in Australia? Like, I ordered this book after I was done reading the one. This is out of order. How frightfully embarrassing. Okay, now it's in order. The Selection, the Elite, the One. Let's go through star ratings. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. This series is amazing. The premise of this series is that it follows a girl by the name of America Singer who ends up entering into a competition that is the Bachelor style, set in the royal palace of this world, where all of these girls are vying for the heart of the prince. Whoever wins will become the princess. I've read the first 3. There are 6 books in the series. This is book 4. It took forever to get this book in my hands because you guys, if you've been following me, you know that had this book come earlier, I would have already read this book. I love Kiera Cass. She's the author of this book. I love her work for this series so much. It was not easy getting this book to Australia. So come on, Australia, we need to stock more Selection books. Anyway, I'm very excited to be getting to this book. It's a YA dystopian. And, it's 356 pages long, which makes it a half tome. I'm incredibly excited to get to this book. I almost want to read it first, but I won't. I'll be good. Okay, the second last book that I'm going to be reading this month is... going back over this way, because we're going to be looking over here. Okay, the second book in the spin-off from the Vampire Academy series, which is the Bloodline series, book number 2. The Golden Lily. In August, I read book 1 from this series, and I absolutely loved it. I'll talk to you more about that when I do my monthly wrap-up. This is book number 2. I had this book lying around, so yay! I'm looking forward to reading this. We'll see how we go. So the final book that I plan on reading in September of 2020, I actually don't have it on me, so I'm going to get the wonderful Alex to put a picture of it right up there. It is called Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. Okay, so you guys know I love my Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson is the only author in this room that has its own bookshelf. Okay, he is amazing. This is my Brandon Sanderson bookshelf. Okay, so anyway. Last month, or the month before, I think it was last month actually, I finished off Mistborn, as I alluded to earlier, and this month I'm going to be finishing off the Reckoners, Steelheart, the Reckoners series. But I can't wait to start the Lightbringer series. I am really excited, but if I get the versions of the book that I think I'm going to get, because there are different versions of, covers and editions and stuff, if I get the edition that I think I'm going to get with the Lightbringer series, every book that has been published so far in that series is 1,000 pages long. So they are double tomes. So I needed a little speed bump along the way between Mistborn and the Lightbringer series, and so that speed bump is known as Warbreaker. Warbreaker, at this stage is a standalone book. That's why I chose it. But recently, in fact, just this week, I found out that Warbreaker is actually planned to evolve into its own little series. But for now, it is a standalone for now. So that's why I've chosen this book. This will be the last book that I read in September of 2020. These are most of the books that I plan to... These are most of the books that I plan to get to in September of 2020. Alright, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so very much for watching. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. What do you plan on reading in the month of September? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, letting you guys go peace, blessings and so much love. And I'll see you again soon. Mwah. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you like this video. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll see you again soon. Bye guys. Bye.